Hey, what is up, ladies and gentlemen? I'm Mickey Mouse here once again, and I'm back for some more yet again for the Maxi Toys videos. And ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to more Let's Play of Sonic and the Secret Rings for the Nintendo Wii. And I don't understand how the fact that why that every single world always says new on here. Don't tell me it's like new Super Mario Bros. All over again, like new Lost Prologue, new Sand Oasis, all that etc. stuff. So anyways, yeah, as I mentioned to you before, welcome back to more Let's Play of Sonic and the Secret Rings for the Nintendo Wii. So last time we actually did explore for the forms of Skeleton Dome, and we haven't done that much missions though, other than just only 4 of them. And also in addition to that though, we also got ourselves the forms of like, well, let's just say multitasking objectives that we've done, like beat the crap out of the likes of all kinds of enemies. I believe we actually did beat the likes of like, well, 40 thieves first of all, and 15 after that, so that means 55 enemies that we dished out from. And also we managed to claim ourselves the forms of the White World Ring, in this case the forms of the 6th World Ring, and also we managed to able to recover by the forms of the King Solomon's bones for able to actually just to reset his body. So anyways, today for this episode, ladies and gentlemen, is the fact that we're going to be taking on the forms of the true final world in the game. And that is the forms of Night Palace, which appears to be, yes, I know, Shara, that's what Eraser was supposed to be at. So we're going to be able to actually kick his butt in no time. So, at least without any trial and error moments, because this is how the fact that this game could get, well, at least specifically in this world though, how the fact that it gets aggressively difficult, because as you can see, a lot of these obstacles will trying to kill you, because even then, as you can see, then since we're going to be going on to the forms of like, yeah, that's right, Sonic, just tell her already. But anyways, I'll get to my final thoughts of her, but when we get into the forms at the very end of the game, but that's just how I think it is. So, as far as the theme, or the music theme, as far as the actual, like, Night Palaces is concerned, is actually a pretty good track all in all. The music was actually called, Unawakening Float. So, yeah, that makes it very obvious what this little stimulating stuff is this will concern of, and, yeah, not that bad of a track though. Not the greatest, but still pretty alright though. At least to me anyway, but it doesn't even compare to, like, Who's Gonna Rock the Place from the forms of that familiar iconic intro theme from Command 456 and stuff. So even I know that's how I figured about it. So, and one thing I forgot to mention about this is the fact that during the likes of in Skeleton Dome level, that's how the fact that that particular level also has a vocal theme, and the vocal theme was in Skeleton Dome, and that was the forms of the White of Sky. So yeah, I think that's all the actual themes that we can think of, other than there's actually this iconic music theme that we're about to be constantly going to be hearing throughout the forms of the mission select, and especially when we get to the very end. So even then, I'm probably not going to discuss more to that later, but even then though, we got ourselves the first fire soul in this mission. So, and this is actually the 3rd time we're going to be riding on that magic carpet. But this time around though, we can actually take control of the magic carpet this time. So, think of like how it does in the forms of the Aladdin's iconic romantic song, but in forms of like, you know, a whole new world. So, oh, what the heck? Gee, it's like an endless hallway. But I digress. Every once in a while, if you think we actually finish off the main level, well, it turns out there's still more to come, because as you can see, there are a plethora of trials to go through. Like, sometimes we're actually gonna go through, like, the forms of, like, stained glass sections that usually takes place in somewhat of in a skies, I suppose, or in this case, some stars in the background. I'm not sure how that usually goes on with this. And eventually, as soon as we're able to get to the next section, and in order to actually get to this next section, is the fact that we need to homing attack onto those hourglasses, and then once you deal with that, then you move on to probably the most dangerous rooms of the entirety of this level, which, as you can see, that since Sonic has mentioned about the fact that it's all gas and etc., and because the gas was really dangerous and pretty bad, this means we need to get out of there in case if we don't able to actually restart this particular respawning point, and especially noticeable with the forms of like you don't able to get your rings count depleted. So you just have to watch out for the actual gas, because even then, again, if you actually get, if you've been onto the gas for a long time, then you're probably going to die, so you just have to stay sharp on that one. So, yeah, there's not much else I can really say about the forms of, like, today's, updates for this point, folks, because other than today was actually forms of, the 16th of September, and, surprisingly enough, we actually got into the halfway point of September already, from the get-go, actually. But even then, though, that really wasn't meant to be saying that much, because even then, though, that, aside from that, well, there's not much else I can really say about the forms of, like, although, one thing I forgot to mention about this is the fact that, I'm pretty sure I'm probably not gonna show off the forms of, any kinds of extras in this game, unfortunately, though. Although I know some people seem to able to show off some extra stuff in this game has to offer, but as far as secret rings goes, probably gonna be able to pass on extras, so. But I digress. So, anyways, this might be the final area of the forms of that specific spot. And hopefully we can able to actually get out of this gas section for this entire time. Now, with the other forms of that fire souls, that if you couldn't tell already, I'm actually going to be going after only 2 of them. But the third and final one is easily one of the most difficult fire souls to get. Because I know it's a little bit complicated in my opinion though, although it might be something to do with the time break system. But there is actually a little bit of a catch to it though, is the fact that you need to constantly homing attack onto their forms of that specific crumbling rock or something like that. But then you're gonna have to keep doing that unless if you actually disabled the time break, then you would able to actually get that third final fire soul. So even then, I found that to be a lot more difficult to obtain from. But that's just to me anyway. Alright, so we've reached to level 30, and the ring counts is actually increased up, including the soul gauge. So, Charger. Forward acceleration increases. Surge. Sonic's automatic acceleration during time break increases. Again, I rarely use that though, other than it can be helpful for some people, so, anyways.
Ugh, it's the blue rat again.
Hey! Looks like I'm running a bit low here. Think you could top me off?
Have you brought the 7 world rings?
Well, you see, you should really just look for them yourself.
Very well. I'll carve you to pieces until I find every last one.
Is that so? Let's see you try!
I got to admit though right away is that I think I've already established that from before, but I personally find that most of the dialogue in this game can get pretty forgettable at points. Well, some of these dialogues I do really manage to fully enjoy, but sometimes it just doesn't seem to able to come off as such. Like, for example, by the forms of that, I forgot to mention about this during the likes of the Evil Foundry level, that one of the dialogue Sonic actually says, that he did actually say, "There's something about to hatch," and I was like, really? Can you think of like another line or something like that? Or perhaps maybe you like to say like, just what is this thing? Is this some kind of oddly shaped object or something like that? I mean, that could be a little bit more strategic about that, but that's just to me. So here we go folks, on to the next mission, and this might actually be the second time we're going to be doing the head-to-head mission right here, and basically once again we need to beat the hoo-hoo until we get to the very end of the goal. And this is what the game starts to get pretty frustrating for some people, because of even then, that some people complain about motion controls in the adventure mode, that sometimes they get a lot of trial and error moments, especially in this mission comes into play, because if you continuously dying on the forms of that specific section, then you have to push back a little bit, and then as a result, the Yahoo managed to able to actually just speed bypass you. So, but if you really want to get the fire souls like I do here, then be sure to able to be fast and quick. Even especially noticeable when we get to the very end of this point here. Now you have to be very, very exactly at the right spot until you're trying to able to homing attack onto that spring attached to the forms of that spiky little obstacle. So that could get pretty tricky though for the first time players, including myself back in during about a decade ago. Jeez, he really kicked my butt, didn't he? But I digress. So now we're done with that mission. In fact, that particular mission is mandatory if we want to able to go through other missions we might as well go for. So the next mission we're going to be heading to is Die Hard Challenge, and once again we can't afford to die, so even then, I believe this might be the final time we're going to be doing this mission, because after that, then we're going to be moving on to a new type of mission that we haven't come across through our adventure. Unless if you actually decide to do those in the forms of optional missions in the other worlds previously. So, anyways, let's get to this.
I'm feeling something strange.
Feeling strange about what? Oh, okay, because of the forms of the portal systems or something like that. So, or maybe I'm wrong about that, but I usually think about it. So, yeah, I guess, you know, not much else to tell. So, anyways, just need to able to concentrate here. And, yeah, because even then, since this mission is going to be a lot more harder than the likes of any other missions of the forms of Knight's Power so far. Oh, there's a fire soul. I missed that, so. Oh well, whatever. As far as this point in time, folks, that I probably should able to skip some of those fire souls grinding as far as that's been concerned. There are some a couple of exceptions, but until we get to the forms of, like, let's just say the final two main missions. Now, you might be thinking about the fact that with the forms of, like, go for the goal mission that we've already done through for the forms of earlier ago, well, apparently not only does it give us the opportunity to able to actually deal with the forms of, like, let's just say, go through, like, head-to-head mission, or you can able to actually just, whoa! Jeez, calm down, Sonic. Are you going, like, you know, just fling to yourself like a roller coaster ride? Oh, I really don't believe that. But I digress. So, anyways, yeah, because even now, though, that, you can either to deal with, like, I don't know, like, head-to-head mission or something, or you can able to actually just have a, one-on-one fight against with the Razor Jin, which, at this point, I probably should save that until later, because, obviously, we need to collect all 7 world rings, and, it makes no sense to me, because even then, whenever when we finish up the main level and then the cutscene triggers, when I was like, are you kidding me? Could it be wait until whenever when we, before we jump into the actual boss door mission and stuff like that? I mean, that at least makes it a little bit more sense, but I don't know why they did manage to add that very, very early, so. Oh well. And there's the new obstacles here. Basically, we need to dodge those lasers and all that stuff. Not that difficult, except this part right there, because rarely am I able to actually just manage to dodge those during time. But then, sometimes I always keep on getting hit by those little spears, coming out of nowhere sometimes, but I digress. So, and this is what the mission's gimmick, is the fact that the room starts to shift between, let's just say side by side, and eventually upside down. So, yeah, I guess that's pretty obvious what this mission's gimmick is, the fact that it's all room shifting. So, you know, kind of like how it does in the forms of, like, the stone tower from The Legend of Zelda Majora's Mask from the Nintendo 64/Nintendo 3DS. So, like, in that particular, you know, dungeon in the forms of the Majora's Mask in Stone Tower, they can able to actually just go ahead and shift between floor or ceiling. So it kind of reminds me of those kinds of stuff. So, and also at the same time, the majority of the forms of Sonic Riders Zero Gravity for the Nintendo Wii and PlayStation 2. But except the fact that you can able to actually just use that wisely, because you don't want to waste all of your gravity gauge and stuff like that. But even then, that's how I think it is. So, and the reason why I'm going on here, I'm hoping I can get that fire soul though. Oh, dang it! Oh well. Screw these fire souls. Let's just go ahead and end off the mission off, because, well, I just don't know what I feel about it. But anyways, aside from that, well, not much else to tell, other than we still haven't got any signs of the forms of, like, the new Team Sonic Racing release date yet, but expecting that if Sonic needs to get back into the forms of Sonic and All-Stars Racing Transformed for the 360 version Let's Play, so that way it could be a little bit more opportunities that we could able to actually just to be a little bit more hyped for Team Sonic Racing game. Speaking of such, is the fact that I've heard from a lot of people seem to have major complaints, whether in forms of, like, the previous, or in this case, the most recent Nintendo Direct, is the fact that, since Knuckles already mentioned about these couple of titles and all that stuff, some including buddy forms of some of those, Wii U ports over to the Nintendo Switch stuff again, like, you know, New Super Mario Bros. U Deluxe, and, one thing that a lot of people seem to complain about is the fact that there was no sign of either Pikmin 4, no new Paper Mario game, and especially no information yet upon the forms of Metroid Prime 4, because I know a lot of Metroid fans were so desperate to be able to actually know about the Metroid Prime 4's information is going to be all about. But even I know, I just really can't wait until Metroid Prime 4 is still going to be on its horizon though, so... But even I know, that's only because I'm mainly curious, able to try out every single Metroid games. So, anyways though, now we're going to be moving on to the forms of a new types of missions that we're going to have to come across, and that's the forms of hands-off. And basically, the entire objective in this, these kinds of missions is the fact that we need to able to actually finish the level with no rings whatsoever. Because if you manage to carry at least one ring or more, your mission will be entirely a failure. So, and because of that though, we need to, sometimes we have to quite frequently try to able to get hits most of the time, so even then though, expecting so, and, yeah, that's all we have to do. So, it might be a very easy way to do this though, like just simply just take a hit and then all that stuff. One thing I forgot to mention about this actually is the fact that unlike in most of those Sonic games, well, your exception being the forms of Shadow the Hedgehog, that this game, especially noticeable in Sonic and the Black Knight as well, you will lose 20 rings every time you get hit by any kinds of hazardness, and especially with enemies itself, so thought it's worth bringing up. So there we go, that we've actually done with that particular mission, and there we go, another silver medal. So we haven't still got the forms of the gold medal yet, but I digress. So we've got ourselves level 31, so let's see what new abilities that we've got. Okay, so the first one is once decreases recovery time more than homing stability. But even then, there's not much else I can really explain about this one, honestly, so... Though, I think this might actually be, well, not so much the final mission just yet, because, well, there's still more to come for this point, so even then, let's do Rampage, and this time around, though, that much like in new forms of Levitated Ruin, and especially noticeable for Pirate Storm, is the fact that we need to take down 20 enemies, so... And once we deal with all of these 20 enemies, then things were about to be happening after, well, this mission is accomplished. So, and this time, that the forms of how to back down, well, it's kind of like how it did in the forms of, like, let's just say Sand Oasis as well, and especially noticeable with, well, let's just say by the forms of, like, oh yeah, Levitated Ruin, and especially noticeable with the forms of, like, Pirate Storm, and defeat 40 enemies in Skeleton Dome, except by the forms of, like, defeat 15 enemies on that mission, because if you manage to able to actually accidentally get into the goal, your mission will be failed, so... And I believe that could be the same applies, but in forms of, like, an Evil Foundry mission as well. Like, if you manage to get bypass the forms of the goal sign, your mission will be failed as well, so... Yeah, there's the first Fire Soul right there, and if you manage to miss your opportunities to get that one, be sure to be very careful for this point, so... And right there, you probably noticed that Fire Souls got trapped inside this glass container. Well, if you use the speed break, and you would able to smash it, and then that, you would able to get the second Fire Soul, so... As for the third and final one though, you remember by the forms of a Levitated Ruin, that one of those Fire Souls... Oh shoot. That's a bit lame. Oh well, we'll try this. What the? Are you kidding me? Oh, thanks a lot. Sometimes this level can get annoying at times, especially with those really, well-placed, or in this case, coming out of nowhere, spears always just trying to surprise you. And, most of the time, I always get frustrated with those obstacles like this, for instance. But, aside from that though, as long as you know what you're doing, you will be fine, but for your first time playing, it can be very frustrating at times, but still. Anyways, so since we defeat all these enemies from this row, we got even more rings. And let's go ahead and smash this glass and activate the hourglass if it's entirely up to me. In case if... Oh, I did not notice there's a platform over there, shoot. Fine, I'll take a normal path, although, because again, it's been a really long while since I actually just got... Are you kidding me? Oh... Seriously, game. Seriously. You trying to make me just try to surprise me? Jeez. No, thank you, because you don't tell Sonic to slow down in a Sonic game. I mean, think of like how it does in Sonic Boom Rise of Lyric. I mean, don't you ever think about it, Shara. Anyways, that's how you get the third and final Fire Soul, is by simply we need to use the time break, and that way we can able to actually nab that particular Fire Soul from the cage. So, I think that's about it, obviously, so let's go and deal with the last two here, and we are done. So, bronze medal. I will blame Shara for that matter, for actually saying that, trying to slow down or something, or maybe the spears, which I will still blame on those obstacles, but you know, I might as well able to consider it.
That's it!
One of the 7 world rings. This one is purple.
Oh! This one is sealed with sadness.
Just what are these rings all about, anyway?
Hey, there's something I've been thinking about, Shara.
What is it?
How do you and the Eraser Djinn know each other?
Huh? Well...
Hey, if you'd rather not talk about it, that's okay.
Sonic.
Is he really a genie of the lamp like that King of Bones said?
Yes. Well, you see, he's the genie of the magic lamp from the story of Aladdin.
Huh?
Long ago, he was punished for his misdeeds and sealed away in the lamp. He would not be forgiven until he had granted the wishes of 1,000 people. But when his sentence had been served, he had a renewed hatred of people. That was his fate, sad as it was. His cursed destiny came from the story he had been written into.
Shara?
To the Eraser Djinn, I am just a mere genie of the ring. I want to stop him, though. I want to turn the stories of the Arabian Nights back to what they were. That is my wish.
Hooray! We got the 7th and the final world ring in the game, which appears to be purple. And based off what I've noticed is the fact that every time when we get ourselves every single 7 world rings, I think this might be something to do with based off from emotions or something like that. But even then, I won't get to those until we get to the very end of how the fact that how usually it represents from. So, but I digress. So I'm afraid, guys, we're gonna have to end things off at this point right there, because I'll save the actual Eraser Djinn fight for the next video, because I think it's the perfect opportunity to do that. So, anyways though, see you guys next time of the forms of Sonic and the Secret Rings for the Nintendo Wii, is the fact that we're going to be taking on the Eraser Djinn. After obtaining all 7 of those 7 world rings, I would finish them off once and for all. So see you guys next time for that. Later, fellas.